Welcome back to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network, a daily live NHL show Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, giving daily picks and previews. On top of that, if you want to see trade breakdowns, reactions, maybe some injury news and futures updates, make sure to subscribe to this channel. It'll be new videos coming out, instant reactions to those things, as well as the podcast that comes out every Wednesday with David Pagnotta, Dennis Bernstein, and Zach Bodenstein right here on the Edgework HQ YouTube channel. Make sure to hit subscribe, like this stream as well, help us get around there. But massive trade last night. Alex B. Smith and myself broke it down here, talking about how this affects the Bruins, even how this affects the Wild, what their plans are going forward.
But how does it affect the Leafs? That's what we've got to talk about.
Well, how does this affect the Leafs? And Andy, you were one person that I was interested in hearing from on this because the Bruins are your team. You follow them closely. You're looking at the Bruins go out and add Dmitry Orlov and Garnet Hathaway. How are you feeling after that trade?
I mean, pretty good. It's not the sexiest thing. I mean, I probably would have lost my mind if the Bruins had gotten, Timo Meier or Patrick Kane or somebody unrealistic like that, obviously. But I think it's the most practical move that they could have made, probably. And Orlov is a guy that's going to fit in perfectly with Boston. He's obviously probably a rental here, but he's a guy that he's not scared to get physical, but it's not it's not the staple of his game. He's a great puck mover. I think he's gonna just mesh really well with what the Bruins do. And obviously Hathaway is kind of the prototypical Bruins player, and he'll be a fan favorite whether he's any good or not.
Now, the Stanley Cup odds for the Bruins, we didn't see them move basically at all last night. It essentially stayed the same. I think you're going to see a spot like that, especially for a team who's already the favorite. But for people who might have had the Bruins ahead of the season to win the Stanley Cup and place those futures, some people at this point, maybe as the odds are, you might be looking for an opportunity to hedge out. I know us here, it's not really the what we're looking for in sports betting most of the time to hedge out. But what I am looking to hedge is my beard. If you see me, I go to the liquor store and they're saying, "Sir, can I have a piece of ID?" I give them the ID. Then they ask me for another piece. Sometimes I've got 3 piece. I can't go babyface, so I've got to hedge. And luckily, the Edgework Show support is brought to you by Manscaped. Breaking news. Manscaped is now selling beard products. That's right. They've gone from waist to face to help you replace that bulky razor with their brand new Beard Hedger Pro kit. And yeah, I feel like you could use one of these here, the Beard Hedger Pro kit. Manscaped helps you get the golden rod of a Greek god, and now they've created the best tools for you to turn heads with. A clean, perfectly groomed and conditioned beard. Finally, tame your mane by going to manscaped.com and using our code HammerHQ for 20% off plus free shipping. See, that's what I'm looking for. I can't go right down to the skin. People are going to think I'm 12 years old. So I got to hedge. That's what's going on here, boys. The hedging.
Man, you guys got to hook me up. I could use both of those because I've been using the same razor on my balls and my face for far too long. And this is just, this is kind of, I think this is the universe telling me to get with the Manscaped program.
They did send us some gear, which we've got to use, and they said it's this is for the the
You guys
class.
sharing it?
Well, they said to give it to
Yeah.
the best hosts, the best analysts. So we sent one out to So Money and Alex B. Smith and Rusty Bill, and that's it. That's basically the stock.
Man.
Well,
Alright.
Andy, with the Beard Hedger Pro, this thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. This thing is waterproof, cordless trimmer, has a rotary wheel. You just click around the dial, makes it real easy to adjust lengths. It gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. All attached on there, makes it real easy.
Looks like you've already got the hedger there.
I only need one length of trim.
Regardless your length of trim, make sure you go over to manscaped.com, use promo code HammerHQ for 20% off and free shipping. Check that out. Helps support the show, helps the Edgework crew out here, and Lord knows we need it after we've had a little bit of a losing week there, Rob. We gotta bounce back, but down to up 36 units on the year, only 36 units up at this point.
Yeah, listen, like obviously we're never going to be immune to a bad week. We have different content creators on here, all of whom I think pretty highly of, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. I don't think this is going to be the saving grace today. I don't love the card. I do have a few plays that I bet myself, but what really grinds my gears is the people that are like, oh, like, you know, you got buried this week or whatever. It's like, okay, still been a very, very good season. But like, do you think I don't know? Like, do you think that we're not betting these plays ourselves? Like the days that I lose, people don't need to remind me that I had a losing day. Like I bet the stuff. I guess that's one of the differences between us and some of the other shows that are run out there. But like, yeah, we're all betting it ourselves. We know when it's a losing day, it affects us just as much as everyone else. We obviously don't want it to happen, but I think today is the day that we have to try to turn it around here.
Yeah, today is the day. We got 6 games on the card, so let's start with the first one. The Minnesota Wild heading to Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs. Minnesota now, based on all the movement going on in the West, and Alex and I talked about it yesterday, some of the interesting stuff that was happening there with players moving in the East, Wild picking up contracts now. This is a second contract that they've picked up in the last week. Just adding on and not really acquiring anything else, or preparing for maybe more moves from the Wild approaching the deadline. But they vault themselves into third in the Central at this point. They're 2 points up on Colorado, 2 back of Winnipeg, 3 back of Dallas. Like, they're right in the hunt. 5-4-1 in their last 10 on a 4-game winning streak, facing off against a Leafs team who's just comfortably holding on to second in the Atlantic. A couple points up on Tampa, although they do have one more game played than them. 6-4 in their last 10, coming off a 6-3 win against the Sabers. Now, mind you, this Leafs team is very good at home, 22-6-4. A lot of that comes with Ilya Samsonov in net. Rob, if you're going to break down this game, you're going to look to play a side, a total. Where would you lean, especially with Minnesota, kind of the uncertainty surrounding them and them coming off a back-to-back here?
Yeah, so this is, it kind of sickens me to give this out because the Leafs are such a high-scoring team in general. But I think the Wild right now are a dead nut under team. And if you're getting a plus money on an under 6 in a Wild game, I think you have to fire on that. For a couple of reasons. One, Philip Gustafsson, who's confirmed in net tonight, has been very, very good this year. Not as large a sample size as the other goalies that are atop the league in terms of goals saved above expected or any other metric, but 928 save percentage, 16 goals saved above expected in 26 games. He's saving more than half a goal a game relative to other goalies. And like, this is a clear upgrade in net. They found their top goalie right now. On the other side of things, this team cannot score. And eventually, this trend will reverse at some point or another. But right now, you sort of have to ride it. And if you look at the last month in the NHL, and we take even strength, the Wild are shooting at 4.4% at even strength over the course of the last month. It's been horrendous for them. Now, they're not a team that's going to all of a sudden go on the opposite end of the spectrum and just like figure it out. They just don't have the depth, especially in their lineup, and the goal scoring ability to eventually overcome this. But it's actually been so bad for them that yesterday's 2-0 win over Columbus increased their even strength shooting percentage over the past month. That's how bad it's been. They just cannot put the puck in the net. So I'm looking at a matchup here that is Gustafsson, very likely Samsonov for the Leafs in net. I think that's a good goaltending battle overall. Minnesota's playing these, grinded out type of games where they just can't score. They're pretty sound defensively, even with Brodin out of the lineup. I'm going to take a shot here. I bet this myself. I think anything at under 6 plus 100 or better is worth a bet. Best number in market right now, plus 105 at DraftKings. I'd fire on that. Don't watch the game. Unfortunately, I bought my parents tickets for this game tonight for my mother's birthday. So now I'm rooting for like a 2-0 or 3-0 Leafs win, so they go home happy. But it's I don't think I can bear to watch the Leafs like with their style of offense and in a total of 6 and betting the under. But I think that's where the value is here.
So we did track that there. It is in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. You can download that on iOS and Android, so make sure to give that a look. You can track all the picks throughout the course of the season, see how we've done, see how we do each day. Another game here tonight. I know we don't really have any plays in this one, but between Montreal, Philadelphia, two lower-end teams here tonight. Montreal did just come off a win against the New Jersey Devils. Now facing off against Philadelphia, who's coming off a loss to the Edmonton Oilers. Andy, if you look at this one between these two teams, is there anything at all that intrigues you in this one?
Well, I'm not sure what Travis Konechny's status is. A little while ago, he was, listed as day-to-day. I didn't see an update. Haven't been scrolling Twitter in the last half an hour or so. So that's really the only thing of note there. I think really the line is, set pretty much appropriately. I've got the Flyers, I think, around minus 140 with Konechny out, or minus 138 or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Konechny, it seems just like he's more unlikely to play, right? I think it was upper body injury. They didn't rule him out. Seems unlikely that he's going to be in the lineup today. Typically speaking, when you get these types of teams, I'm more inclined to back the underdog in this type of situation. But Jake Allen getting the start for Montreal has been worse than Montembeault this year. That's understating it, I would say.
Jake Allen and Carter Hart going here.
Yeah, I'm not supremely interested in one of the sides here. Just a game of who knows. What's the mindset for either of these teams, right? This is like Andy fighting a kid in the schoolyard back in the day, just a couple of losers at the towards the end of the year, just letting out some frustration on one another.
I'm not gonna like even give any kind of rebuttal to that. It's just.
Well, it happened. That's why. This isn't fiction.
Did either of you guys watch the Edmonton-Pittsburgh game last night?
Yeah, it was. I had a bet on the Oilers, fortunately, but early on, it seemed like one of those games where Pittsburgh was going to just hang on and get and bleed shots and find a way to keep the score close. But the Oilers just put on an absolute clinic last night, and this Penguins team is in real trouble. Jerry back, yeah, they can Jerry back, and maybe that turns for them, but I still don't understand why this team is kind of ranked this highly by the market still. Rob, unpredictable. You've mentioned them before. They've got the Penguins 14th right now, or they did prior to last night's game. I just think that's quite a bit too high. We're looking at 30 games where this team has been a bottom 10 offensive and defensive team, and I know injuries to both goaltending and some of the players have played a role in that. But I don't know. The Penguins are definitely in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of the market rating on Pittsburgh is just them being an Eastern Conference team. If I could be honest, because that was I had an edge on Edmonton last night. I did play it as well, but not as largely as I should have, because we've seen just the East run over these Western teams this year. And I think when you look at unpredictable and you look up and down the board, look at your top 15 teams in the league, you're hard pressed to find Western Conference teams because of the fact that they've just fared so poorly against the East this season. So I think that's part of it, but I agree with you. Pittsburgh leaves a lot to be desired right now. A lot of old legs in that lineup.
Jeff Carter is rough, man. Like he stands out every time he comes on to the screen, and you notice him. It's in a bad way. It's he's just slow, man.
Yep, agreed. I'm pretty down on them relative to market as well.
Yeah, I was just kind of even wondering like what goes on in the East playoffs as it is right now, because you're seeing. We've talked about many times like the top 3 in the Atlantic and the 3 in the Metro, those are going to basically lock in. But now even after last night, we've seen a switch where Detroit jumps into the second wild card spot, and you're looking at Florida make a push. They're tied with Detroit in points. Pittsburgh's just outside by 1 now. Buffalo's up in there 1 point behind. 1 point behind Pittsburgh. It's like getting very tight in that situation where we kind of sat and said, all right, well, this thing's done. Maybe not so much anymore. And then you watch last night, Washington trades away Orlov and Hathaway and almost says like, all right, we're waving the white flag. That's it. And then watching that Pittsburgh team kind of sitting there going, what do these guys think that they even have? Like, what's going on here? What can they even do? Because some teams you're looking at, they're looking at a piece to push them over the edge. And Pittsburgh feels like they're more than a piece away. That's
I can't wait to bet one of these dumpster fire teams plus 600 against the Bruins in the first round of the playoffs. Cannot wait. One of these teams, like you, because Andy, you know that this is going to happen, right? Like you know what's going to happen. Two of these teams are going to get the wild card spots. They're going to get Boston and Carolina. There's no chance in hell you're going to get a good price on Boston or Carolina in those series. You're going to get an absurdly high value price on like a Buffalo or a Detroit. And I'm going to bet it because it's the playoffs and crazy shit happened. Like Florida went into the playoffs last year. Everybody thought three
over plus 300. I think I played around plus 310 on Washington last year.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very different style of game. Sometimes, that regular season success, you just find a slump at the wrong time or your style of play doesn't translate to the playoffs. So I'm kind of hoping it's Buffalo. I think Buffalo can give a team a run in the playoffs personally, but I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah. Andy, maybe we got to do a tattoo bet, you and I. The Leafs will make it farther than the Bruins. And if the Leafs make it farther than the Bruins, you got to get the passion tattooed somewhere.
Across his neck.
Yeah. Yeah, right on your neck. The passion.
You got the wrong guy, man.
All right, another game here. A team holding on to first in the Metro right now pretty comfortably. Carolina Hurricanes, 3 points up on the Devils. 2 games in hand on them, 9 points up on the Rangers, 2 games in hand on them as well. At home tonight, facing off against the Ottawa Senators. And Carolina on a 4-game win streak, but facing off against an Ottawa team who did just move on from Nikita Zaitsev. And by all indicators here, it looks like Ottawa might be trying to go out and acquire a player, whether it be a defenseman or a centerman. Looks like those are the top 2 priorities that they have going into this deadline. Now, does that mean that they're going to try to make a push and try to get into the playoffs? Well, they're not crazy far out. You're looking at about 6 points back for the Sens right now, but they would have to get themselves on a run and hope that the teams in front of them that we've kind of just talked about can't really get much going down the stretch, which I don't think will be the case, but at least building for the future. If you're looking at a game between these two teams, you probably have some excitement in Ottawa that something might be coming around the corner, but this Carolina team has just been too good this year, too good at home, 26-2. Rob, if you're looking at this matchup, is this maybe leaning towards Carolina here in this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the price dictates Carolina's a pretty big favorite. The big thing here is you get Cam Talbot back in net for Ottawa coming off of the IR. And I typically don't like to play goalies in their first game back. This is more of like a subjective analysis and feel type of thing, but I've been betting hockey for a long time, and I just, haven't dug deep into the numbers, but it's just my perception that these guys tend to be a little bit rusty in their first game of back. It tends to take them some time to get used to the game state again. They're going to get a ton of shots from Carolina here, right? And that's my main concern in backing the Senators. Also, like, just unrelated to betting, every time I hear the Senators tied to like some specific player, I'm like, what is that organization doing? Like, I don't know what they think their team is, if they think they're one piece away from being competitive, but they're not. Like, they're several pieces away. anyways, side tangent over. I honestly would see a little bit of value in Carolina, even at the current price. I'm not laying the minus 250, but I price it closer to like minus 260. Not a huge edge or anything like that. But if anything, I lean closer to Carolina than I do Ottawa here.
Fair enough. Is there anything you'd look at, Andy? I think you might be on mute.
Yeah, just said you're going to talk to himself and it's going to, yeah.
Sorry. This is kind of the game where I would probably start to, dive into some player props and stuff, because I do think it's going to be a high event game. I think, Ottawa's been giving up a lot of shots, but they're still a, fairly competitive team, right? So I think this could be a really, really high event, fast paced game. Obviously, Carolina's likely going to drive play for the majority of this one. But yeah, the price is around where I would make the game at minus 235, I think is what I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll pass on that one then. Next game here today, Buffalo going to Florida to take on the Panthers.
Here from Leafs Digest.
Yeah. Leafs scoring. Yeah. Leafs. Here we go.
Wow.
Let's go wild picks.
Yeah. I know Handshake Line Respect. He is a well-known person from the Leafs Digest community there, guys.
It's actually a great name. Handshake Line Respect.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Buffalo going to take on the Florida Panthers in Florida here tonight. Buffalo currently trying to push for a playoff spot, 2 points out, 2 points back of Detroit, 5 points back of the Islanders, but they have 5 games in hand on the Islanders at this point, 5-4-1 in their last 10. This is a team that traditionally crumbles to some of the bigger teams, the better teams around the NHL, but Florida, I don't necessarily know if you could classify them as one of those top-tier teams this season, that is. And Florida is tied with Detroit 4 points. They're 3 more games played.
They're 2-0 versus Buffalo this year, for what it's worth, I think. So, they...
Fair enough, yeah. It's 6-4 in their last 10, this Florida team, 16-8-3. Any sides or totals or anything you'd be looking at in this one, Rob?
Yes. So there has been some news. So I expected that Barkov and Bennett were both going to be back in the lineup today. They are announced out of the lineup. Anthony Duclair is making his season debut, though. So what this Barkov and Bennett out does for me is makes me come to a decision on whether or not I want to bet this plus money under 7 at plus 110, which is, you need 8 goals to beat you. And I understand that Florida can be a dumpster fire at times defensively. Bobrovsky can give you that horrible start. Don't know who's going to be in net for Buffalo yet, but I'm leaning towards it probably being Craig Anderson, who I think is the best option for them right now. That's really tempting. And I'm actually just going to bet that personally right now, live as we do this on air. I'm going to go about a half unit on the under 7, just because, I think people can understand why I would only go a half unit with these two teams. But 8 goals to beat you, you're losing. I think a couple of guys that were baked into the number that expected to play are now out. I think that changes the market on this total a little bit.
Yeah, to Rob's point, they've played twice this year. They haven't totaled 8 goals in a game in either of those games. So these are two teams that, I think off the top of most people's heads, you would think fireworks, right? Offensive explosion, but it hasn't really happened in this matchup so far this season. So I'm kind of with Rob on that one for sure.
This is going to be the game with my first player prop today as well. So I'm going to. I know a lot of people tune into the Friday broadcast because they want to hear me give out anytime goal scorers, which have been on a pretty hot run. There's no such thing as the hot run and cold run. It's just like positive variance and negative variance. Don't go any harder on these this week than you would have previously. But I think Matthew Tkachuk, anytime goal at plus 100 or better. FanDuel best price in market plus 118. Pinnacle for those in Ontario plus 117. You got a bunch of other books that are plus 100 or better. No secret. I say the same thing every week. I just try to identify players who are good career shooters that have been underperforming in a shorter stretch recently. And if you look at Matthew Tkachuk, he has 6.97 individual expected goals over the past month, but he only has 4 goals to show for it. That's because he's been shooting 7.7% in that time. Well, Matthew Tkachuk is a 12.6% shooter this season, 13.3% career. I know it's a little bit counterintuitive to bet the under in the game and bet an anytime goal scorer, but I do feel like Tkachuk is going to find the back of the net soon. So I am going Matthew Tkachuk. We'll take the FanDuel line plus 118, which is widely available right now, anytime goal. I would price him as a favorite to score a goal tonight.
I'm kind of intrigued by what this is going to do to Carter Verhaeghe's spot in the lineup, so I'm going to look out for that as things come out later today, I guess, because that's pretty interesting for me. The guy shoots the puck as much as Tkachuk, but the big difference is he doesn't typically get power play time. So see what happens there. I think he's kind of a player to monitor today.
Yeah, and Rob, this is the Maxwell Hammer Robbie Prop play.
Please don't do that. Responsible gaming. Minutes. Yeah, here we go, Todd. Yes, thank you.
2 more games here tonight. Next one, the LA Kings heading to New York to face off against the Islanders, 2 playoff teams as it stands right now. LA 3rd in the Pacific, tied with Edmonton for points. 2-game losing streak for the LA Kings at this point in time. 15, 10, and 6 on the road, but they are 6-2-2 in their last 10, facing off against the Islanders, who are holding on to the top wild card spot in the East. 3 points up on Detroit, 4 more games played than them, though, on a 2-game win streak, 18, 10, and 3 at home. I was hearing some stuff about Barzal that if they are in a spot to make the playoffs, he'll try to come back and play. If not, sit him out and let him rest. So it's you're without basically your top player at this point, but Andy, between these 2 teams, is there anything at all that you'd like in this game?
Not really, no. I've got the Islanders priced around minus 125, so I guess a small edge to the Islanders, depending on where you shop around at, but it's not necessarily something I love, that's for sure. I'm looking at Vegas books right now, and there's some better prices out there, but it's clearly it's pretty much in line with what was out there of the market. Minus 128 is what I had for the Islanders, assuming it's Ilya Sorokin and Jonathan Quick. I don't know, not an interesting matchup. Once again, Rob mentioned Western Conference teams, the trouble in the East. That's probably got to play into it a little bit here too. So. I've only got the one bet today, Zachary.
Hey, fair enough.
They did upgrade Sorokin to probable now, which puts me in range on the Islanders. The problem with the Islanders is that I look at the roster. Obviously, you mentioned Matt Barzal out. Josh Bailey's missed 3 games. They have Matt Martin playing on the first line with Anders Lee and Bo Horvat. Like, they just don't have the depth. But I will not get over the sizable goaltending mismatch here.
Yeah.
Like, it is as massive as it gets. For Ilya Sorokin is probably not going to win the Vezina this year because Ullmark is very likely going to win it due to the team success of Boston. But Sorokin has 43 goals saved above expected in 44 games. He's basically saving a goal per game, which... To put this like into perspective, everyone thought Igor Shesterkin last year had like the best season ever, and he was saving 0.7 goals per game. Sorokin is at almost 1 this year. He's had that much of a better season than Shesterkin did last year. And then you have Jonathan Quick on the other side, who can't stop a beach ball, basically, at this point. And I can't get over that. I price this game at minus 135, and it's purely based off of the goaltending, because the Kings will probably drive play. And, in my head, I consciously don't want to bet a team as a favorite that I think is going to get, I don't want to say caved, but will spend more time in their own end. But the goaltending matchup is so sizable here that I think that this is a short price on the Islanders. So I make it minus 135. I think Andy said his fair is minus 128, which is lean Islanders as well. I would go ahead, Zach, and lock this one in for a half play. And I'm actually going to bet this one right now as well, because I just can't get there with Quick. I feel like he's really bad. This is just a massive.
Yeah, speaking of goaltenders too, just the Kings just getting the short end of the stick here on this little road trip. Vanacek obviously has been great. He got him last night. Sorokin today, and potentially Shesterkin and Hellebuck in the next two matchups. Although I do think, and I'll talk about this a little bit, I guess, but I think it'll be Riddick, maybe against the Islanders. If you look at Connor Hellebuck, I'm not going to let you do a lead in here, Zach. We're going right into Colorado and Winnipeg, doing things my way. Not joking. It's if you look at David Riddick's game logs, he hasn't played any meaningful games in the Central Division. It's been all Connor Hellebuck. And that's a big reason why the Jets are 12-4 against their division, 7-1 at home this season. Obviously, Colorado's been off for 4 days, but I think, and I believe that's where rest turns into rust, or can start to turn into rust. And I don't think it has necessarily played out in favor of the teams that have had that had that rest advantage, or if you want to call it that. So I priced the Jets at around -119. So I think there are some pretty good prices out there. I know there are a lot of -110s. I think there's value there, but if you can shop around, Bet Rivers, Pinnacle, North Star -102, there are some good prices out there. And obviously that hinges on whether or not it's a good price, hinges on whether Hellebuck starts, but I really feel confident that he will start here. They've got a matchup or two matchups against the Kings and the Islanders coming up, so there are the spots that Riddick can get his work in. And the Jets, I mean, if their scoring rates catch up to their expected scoring rates, look out, right? This team is generating a ton of offense right now, but they're just not scoring the goals that they probably should be scoring. And we've seen Colorado get into some scoring slumps too, even in games where they've played well. So I like the Jets here today, and I would bet them right up to -110.
I'm going to piggyback on, I think we can root together with this, but the second and last anytime goal scorer prop I'm going to give out today is Kyle Connor, +150 or better is what I need to bet Kyle Connor anytime goal, which, I mean, is pretty widely available now. BetMGM, DraftKings, PointsBet all have it out there. Cool bet if you're in Canada as well. But Kyle Connor is a career 15% shooter, 15%. Over the past month, he's shot 5.8%. And this is how I like to find players, typically speaking, guys who've underachieved. He's still playing line one with Scheifele and Appleton. He's still getting time on power play one. I think this is going to correct itself. I mean, just 2 goals in the past month, and he's got 5.5 expected goals in that time frame. This is not a guy whose shooting is just going to completely fall off a cliff. He's too good of a player for that to happen. So I'll be rooting for the Jets, but specifically a Kyle Connor goal tonight at +150 against the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, the Jets in general they're shooting 6.85% over their last 10 games. It probably stretches a little further than that, but this is a team that typically scores on over 10% of their shots, and just not happening right now. But they're doing a lot. I think they're playing some of their best hockey of the season right now. So I think kind of ride Winnipeg here for this next little bit as they figure it out.
There's been 3 teams in the West that over the past several weeks just like really haven't been able to score. Minnesota, we mentioned, Winnipeg, Dallas has been the other one as well, where they're just relative to what their season-long numbers have been. These don't last forever, obviously. In some cases, they'll last longer than others because a team doesn't have the talent to hit like a league average shooting percentage or something like that. In that case, I think Minnesota's probably one of those teams. But I like this as well. I do think Winnipeg's eventually there's going to be a correction in terms of the fact that they've significantly underperformed relative to their metrics over the last few weeks.
Yeah, 10 games, 3.8 expected goals or 3.9 expected goals per 60, all situations.
Yeah.
2.1 goals scored per 60. That's a pretty stark difference, I think. Like I said, you said that the water eventually finds its level or whatever, and that's going to be the case
That's
here.
my line. That's my
Yeah,
line.
I know. That's why I credited
I
you.
know you got to find something
trying to-
your own though.
Trying to
Fuck
you.
You gotta find your own.
Well, guys, having two bets on one side here, backing the Winnipeg Jets, it's some might say it's a little bit of a ballsy move. And if you're gonna make ballsy moves like this, you're gonna put your nuts on the line. You might as well make sure that your balls are taken care of. And thankfully, the Edgework Show support is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best men's below the waist grooming. You can their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. You can join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. Use promo code HAMMERHQ for 20% off and free shipping. Andy, 7 million men worldwide. That's about 14 million balls, give or take.
A little bit less,
know.
probably
Yeah.
slightly less.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think you probably underestimate how many people are rocking the
the solo ball.
Yeah, solo ball. I was looking for the
or if you get out of the cold shower, the two balls become one. Anyways, they become the uniball.
But in this Performance Package 4.0, you will find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Andy, we know you need some help with that there. You got the beard going on. There's that mustache connects right up into your nose. You got to trim that thing down, clean it all up, and you can do so with the Weed Whacker, as well as the Crop Reviver toner and the Performance Boxer briefs, a travel bag to hold all of your goodies. But Andy, Rob, you guys know we're sitting here, we're betting, we're content creating, we're sitting in chairs all day. At some point, your balls are going to get sweaty, and what better way to take care of that than with the Crop Preserver? You just take some of that, put it on your area, and you're good to go. Should help throughout the course of the day with sweating, chafing, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to get on that, as well as the 4.0 trimmer is waterproof and has a 4,000K LED spotlight, so you can have a more precise shave. No more nicking yourself while you're in the shower or anything like that. You got the light, you're good to go. Helps you out there. So make sure to head over to manscaped.com. You get 20% off and free shipping with promo code HAMMERHQ. That is manscaped.com. HAMMERHQ code for 20% off and free shipping. Make sure to check that out. Give us some support. We greatly appreciate it. But yeah, check it out.
Yep.
The beard hedger, the weed whacker.
You're gonna sweat some bets. Jets Avs tonight could get a little dicey if you're sitting around. A little bit of ball toner, you're good to go for the rest of the night.
That's all you need.
This is my domain. This is like a nudist colony. When the games start at night, I just walk around here, letting shit fly, letting shit air out, right?
You got to, man. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
All right. Well, as far as today's picks go, if you want to see what we have here today, you can go over to the Edgework HQ BetStamp account. You can find us in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ on BetStamp, and you can get that in iOS and on Android as well. Checking out today's picks, just a quick recap. We do have the under 6 plus 105 in the Minnesota-Toronto game. Matthew Tkachuk, anytime goal scorer, plus 118, as well as the under 7 for a half unit in that Sabres-Florida game.
Look at that CLV already, baby. Move the line 1 cent with that bet.
We got the Islanders money line. Kyle Connor, anytime
shit.
goal. And Andy moving the line on the Winnipeg Jets, their minus 102 money line against.
It's the Edgework. It's the Edgework vibe, right? It just reverberates through the whole betting space when we put out picks.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
To the viewers and listeners, if we happen to lose tonight, you do not need to send me a message on Twitter to let me know. I've made these bets myself. I will know if the bets lose. You don't have to give me an update as to what's going on. Just
the Edgework viewers don't do that. That's just like some fake ass viewers, right? Like these guys. None of the people in the chat do that.
I mean, listen, if it's going to be one of these, if it's going to be another losing day, I might have to hop onto the, like one of those fixed matches tweets that I get all the time after I tweet. You know, it's like, you want the real deal. It's perfect record. It's like all these Bet365 fixed soccer matches tweets.
There's your new selling point. Andy, his picks will make your balls sweat. Now use the ball toner. Rob, you got any good board game recommendations? I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean,
for a beginner board game enthusiast.
It depends what you're into. I'll give you a list. List. I'll take into account your low IQ as well when I consider.
buddy, I solved the puzzles like nobody else.
I could see you being a good puzzles guy.
Don't underestimate.
I don't even know what that means. I grew up on
Resident Evil and shit.
We grew up on the same games, man.
Well, Sam's
we're the same age, so.
What would you classify a sports betting enthusiast? Does that sound like somebody that isn't a beginner, Todd? Fuck, man.
We're gonna have to give Todd the Tuesday off next week. I don't know. This is rough.
You got Hi Ho Cheerio is Andy's speed.
Hi Ho Cheerio, yeah. I play there's this game where you have to like push down on the pig and eventually he pops. That was fun back in the day. My little boy.
I think I know what game you're talking about. Yeah,
started playing Battleship though. That is an underrated fun game, man. Like I think I kind of stuck my nose up at that when I was a kid. But we've had a blast playing that lately.
Battleship's pretty good. I like Battleship. I'm trying to think of other games that I played. I never really got as much into the board games that this classic Clue.
It shows.
That was the one.
Yeah.
You uncultured swine.
Yeah.
At least I'm groomed with my manscaped beard hedger and weed whacker. There's no problem there. I may be an uncultured swine, not into the board games as much, but I'm well groomed. That's what I can say. I gotta go after the show and hedge the beard and make sure I look all cleaned up. But that'll be coming.
Well, look,
up after
I'll
the
show
show.
you guys. Oh
no! What are you showing us?
Get rid of the video. Get rid of the
video. I see some comments here. Thank you guys. Really good show and first time. Thanks for the show. Greatly appreciate it. If you did enjoy the show here today, please make sure to subscribe to the Edgework YouTube channel as well as hitting like on this stream. It helps us out a lot. And if you really want to show some support, you can go over to manscaped.com, get 20% off free and free shipping with promo code HAMMERHQ. That'll help us out as well. So thank you to everyone who tuned in here today. Good luck on your bets tonight, and if you're looking to see me possibly in some misery, you could go over to the Leafs Digest and watch me post-game potentially crying about the Leafs losing that.
I got a fun idea.
All right,
shave that off, the whole thing. Go, baby face, and we'll like take bets on when you look like that again, like.
We could do playoff beards. We could do some sort of playoff beard where we all pick a day to all shave, and then we just let it grow out afterwards.
I can't do that.
I'm in for that.
I'm trying to let these little patchy spots fill in, man, after all the years of shaving.
So what do you think I'm trying to do?
Yeah, you're going to fuck all that up? I know, that's how I was trying to fuck it up. It was clear what you're trying to do, and I was trying to mess with that.
Yeah. For the content,
Rob,
I'll buy into
now it's
the
backfiring.
No.
I will buy into the playoff beard, Andy. I was going to go playoff mullet, but I don't know if you can match me on that, so I don't know.
Skull it. Fucking skull it. Let's do it. I'll look like that. What's his name? God rest his soul there. The ESPN, the best ESPN commercial of all time.
With the Metallica, John Clayton. Was his name Clayton?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely best ESPN commercial ever.
Oh, I love that. I do love that commercial. Yeah.
All right. So you heard it here. Maybe we got to get to a certain number of subscribers for the Skullets, but potentially Skullets and playoff beards here on the Edgework HQ YouTube channel. If you want to see that, hit subscribe on this channel, like this stream. Rob, Andy, thank you guys for your insight today. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see everyone back here on Monday after the weekend, doing picks and previews as well, breaking everything down. So thank you everyone who tuned in here today. We'll see you guys then.